Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, honor, respect to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Salutations to the Lord's elect. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. And the title of this article is called Big Leap for India's Nuclear Forces. New Delhi to develop 500-kilometer range K-5 missile following successful tests of sub-launch K-4. Now, this article was uploaded from RussiaToday.com, as you see up there. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article and, as well, expound upon it. Now, as you may know, this nuclear movement comes prior to the United States, as Donald Trump would claim, assassinating an Iranian general, which was reverenced and loved by hundreds of thousands of Iranians. Now, ever since this assassination of this Iranian general, as Donald Trump claimed, Iran has been making a lot of moves lately, military moves, or may I say, and Iran is really hell-bent on getting their revenge on America for what they did to this Iranian general. They've already attacked U.S. forces in certain other countries like Iraq, Iraq being one of them, So, things is getting hot over there in the Middle East, so you can better understand. With a successful testing of its K-4 nuclear capable, now if you notice it says nuclear capable, so these are submarines that are capable of carrying nuclear missiles or intercontinental ballistic missiles. Well, it says ballistic missile right here, so this is a missile that is able to travel a certain amount of miles before exploding at ground zero. Under its belt, India is seeking to develop the K-5, a long-range ballistic weapon that could reach well beyond its Asian neighborhood. And if Iran could get these submarines close enough to the United States, these submarines could easily shoot a nuke on this country. Okay? So, as you know, I'm going to bring it out though, but in the scriptures it speaks about how in 1 hour the Most High is going to destroy this country. So in 1 hour, this whole place is going to be made desolate. Literally. Okay? Russia is not the only country with nuclear missiles. Neither is America. Neither is China. Neither is North Korea. You got certain countries in the Middle East that also have nuclear capability. The state-of-the-art missile reportedly flew 2,200 kilometers, 1,367 miles. That's a lot of range. Matter of fact, let's look up how long. Let's go to Google real quick. How long is? Hold on. How long is 1,365 miles? 1,300. Let's see how long 1,365 miles is. How long is 1,367 miles? Let's see. Distance calculator. Distance calculator. Let's see if this will work. you know what? That's fine. There's no need for a distant calculator, but you get the point, though. Okay, I mean, from it takes a bus from here in Niagara Falls an hour to get to Buffalo, downtown Buffalo, and that alone is 15 miles. That's 15 miles. Okay, Buffalo, New York is 15 miles away from Niagara Falls, and it takes a bus an hour to get from here to there. Now, if you're in a car, it could take about 24 minutes. Now, 1,367 miles, that's a lot of range. Okay, this missile is basically capable of traveling across at least 3 or 4 states here in America. But if these missiles are in a submarine, that's all the range that these submarines need. So that's my point. Okay. In the upcoming World War III, which is going to escalate into a nuclear war, these other countries which hate America, they're going to use these nukes on America right here. It's written, which I'll also be bringing that out in the scriptures later on. So then the article goes on to say, after its launch from a submerged pontoon in the Bay of Bengal on Sunday, the pontoon blastoff was designed to simulate a launch from a submarine without putting an actual submarine at risk in the event of a missile suffering from a catastrophic failure. The K4 had been tested before. This was the first long-range test, and according to sources who spoke to local media, it met all desired parameters. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Now, who are the Gentiles in Joel 3, verse 9? Because the word Gentile or Gentiles appear multiple times throughout the scriptures. Now if you are, if Yahweh, Yahweh is dealing with you, you will understand who the Gentiles are in Joel 3 and 9. You know, Lord's will, you know, we are hoping, we are those who are hoping to be delivered are of the elect. We hope to be of the elect, okay? Lord's will. So it goes on to say, but the Gentiles in Joel 3 and 9 is talking about anybody who is not an Israelite. So if you're not a Negro, if you're not a so-called Black, Latino, or Native Indian, then you will be considered a heathen. A heathen will be considered a Gentile of Joel 3 and 9. So the so-called East Indians, the Africans, you so-called white people calling yourself white Americans or white Europeans or white Australians or white Russians or white Germans, or you're calling yourself Jewish, which those people in the land of Israel, they're not the real Jews. The Holy Bible describes the real Jews as being so-called black people, okay? And you so-called Chinese and Japanese people, you Arabs, you will be the Gentiles of Joel 3 and 9. So again, if you're not an Israelite, which will be a so-called Black, Latino, or Native Indian, then you will be a Gentile of Joel 3 and 9. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Okay? The scripture said, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Right? Now, if you're beating a plowshare into a sword, then now everybody knows a sword is better than a plowshare. Okay? If you was going to war with a plowshare, chances are you're not going to have much luck, especially with landing a critical. But if you got a sword would give you a huge edge in battle, considering that there's many ways you can kill with a sword. And there's many ways you can kill with a plowshare, but it's going to be difficult landing those killing blows. But with a sword, it makes it less difficult to land a killing blow, especially against somebody who's really good at defense. So a sword is better than a plowshare, and a spear is better than a pruning hook. So what am I saying? Somebody who beats a plowshare into a sword will be somebody who is upgrading their arsenal. And that's what these countries are doing. Iran didn't have nuclear capability prior to what? The 1900s to the early year 2000s. The only countries that had nuclear capability ultimately really was just America and maybe certain parts of Europe. Okay. But look, Iran went from having rockets, from having uh, uh, bombs, from having atomic bombs to having nuclear capability. So over the years of passing, they have been upgrading their arsenal. And that is why they are now nuclear capable. They are nuclear capable because it is prophecy. It is prophesied for them to upgrade their arsenal. That the purpose of Yahweh Bahashum Yahweh Shai may be fulfilled. So it's prophecy for Iran to have nuclear capability. We're reading it right here. Beat your plowshares into swords. Okay? In other words, tell your scientists to make a breakthrough into a developing nuclear weapons. You have atomic bombs, but that's not enough. You got to have nuclear capability now. Let the weak say I am strong. The weak is saying they're strong. Okay? The fact that Iran has nuclear capability, they have K4s now, right? They're a nuclear capable nation. So now they can say they are strong. And that is why America can't just attack Iran. Because they know if they do, Iran could be justified in shooting a nuke on the United States. Okay? And then it goes on to say, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Okay? That just goes to show you that the heathen are talking about the Gentiles of Joel 3 and 9. The heathens are talking about you East Indians, you Arabs, you Africans, you Chinese and Japanese people, you so-called white people, you so-called Jewish people, okay? You Hawaiians, you're not excluded. You're also heathens. And gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Okay, the mighty ones of Yahweh are the angels. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Waken. For edification, let's look up that word waken. The Hebrew word there is rarai. I believe that's rarai. Rarai. No, Iwar. That's Iwar. Salakia. I was reading it from left to right. You got to read it from left. You got to read it from Salakia. I was reading it from yeah. You got to read it from right to left. It's Iwar, and we know that the Hebrew word for Iwar it means to arise or to arouse. It means to rise or rouse yourself up. So let's read the definitions here. To rouse oneself, awake, awaken, incite. To rouse oneself, awake, to be roused, to stir up. So these Iranians, they're stirring themselves up against America for what America did to their general. Rouse, incite, to be excited. be a triumphant. It says to rouse, stir up. It says to act in a roused manner, awake. Okay, so let the heathen rouse themselves. You know, hey, get ready for this war against America. Okay, so let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. The word Jehoshaphat goes back to the Hebrew word Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh the judge. Why is it called Yahweh the judge? For there will I, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is going to judge those heathens over there in the Middle East. Let me get one more scripture. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1. Thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It says, Behold, I will rise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. And that destroying wind is going to come from the explosions of nukes. Nukes being developed by countries like Iran, Russia, North Korea, China, and NATO. Okay. So Lord's will, your brothers were informed through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. With that I say, it's on to the next.